Hi, subscribers. Hope you're doing well. And this is a surprising event, a live event I wanted to share with you. And in fact, I will tell you that this has been asked to be. I mean, like this is one of the questions that's been asked in our recent. I mean, like, in the WhatsApp channel we have, where people are asking, what is the future of performance testing, and what will happen next? How can I make myself future error foolproof? Right? Anyone will have that question by any chance. And yeah, everyone, like whoever in the field, they wanted to understand what is my next step, what is my future career is. And in fact, just to tell you an interesting story, and this is about the famous music director A.R. Rahman, and every one of us might know that. So at some point of time, even the music director A.R. Rahman, so he was actually taking driving classes. So he thought maybe at some point of time, what if music did not help him, or like what if music did went away, and he wanted some thing to keep himself future proof, and that's why he chose driving. And in fact, this is very common. This is one of the information which I have studied in a book, which is very interesting. So anyone will have that a question with him. Anyone would want to really know that am I safe, or the future, the career, or my uh, the way which I'm working, is it okay? Is it fine? Am I in the right path? Or what should I have to learn so that I can flourish in my career? Everyone will have that, right? So some of us like will choose to move from performance testing to performance test lead, project lead, delivery manager, and most of some of other people would really move themselves from performance testing to a different career, different platform. So altogether it happens. So again, this video and this live is all from a question that's been asked to me, stating what is the future of performance testing. So we'll see that. And before even we see about the future of performance testing, I will take you through a nostalgic thing. I mean, like for those who are working like for the last 10 years, they must know, they will know how was performance testing back then, and how did we get to where we are today. Yes, so I remember all the applications that I was testing, are most of us, like the people who are testing like 10 years ago, back in 2015 or like 2010, most of the applications were monolith. Most of you would not have even heard about monoliths, and for those I'm telling, so monoliths means everything run in one big system. Yes, you don't know, you don't believe it, but yeah, that was how the system were designed previously. So everything will be running in one big system, and we have to do the testing for that. And teams often waited until, I mean, the performance testing, that we have to wait until the end of the project to start doing our performance. And yes, I mean, you won't believe, in most of the teams, I don't think, even if it is the case now, in most of the teams, performance testing is an optional way of doing the testing. Yes. So if you have time, or if you have budget, then they will allocate, or they will give the application, or they will tell, or they will even ask a person to do a performance testing. That was the story 10 years back. So again, it was not the way of agile. So we do not have the scrum, whatever the latest techniques that we have now. So we have to wait. So the development has to happen, and then the functional testing has to be completed. And after that, only then we, as a performance testers, we used to get the application for testing, and only then we can even see what has been changed. We were not even been involved in um, the requirement. So now we talk about shift left, shift right? But previously it was not the case. So that was like 10 years back, like 15 years back. And we use very heavy tools like the load runner. So load runner was previously with Mercury, and then it went to HP, and then we were using JMeter. So I don't think JMeter is like a heavy tool, but yeah, that was the only option, the second option we had. And then we were using Silk Performer, and then we were using Soap UI, Load UI, IBM Rational Performance Tester was there. Uh, so these are the tools. Like I would say, they're like heavy tools. I mean, which we are using. So we have to wait until the test gets completed for getting the results. So currently, at present, we have several options where we can monitor the current performance, the current response times and everything. But previously, we do not have that option as well. And then when it comes to the test, so we have to run in a local machine, or we'll have some dedicated on-prem servers. Yes, so there is not even cloud. There was not even the concept of cloud at that time. So we have to use our local machine. That is our personal machine. Now it was after COVID, it was like everyone has a laptop, but previously it was a desktop machine which is sitting in your office, OTC. So we have to use that. We have to use it. And just imagine what could be the configurations by that time. Like having an 8 gig in a team is like a big sophistication, because I never knew people who have their machine with the 8 gig memory. uh, I think most of the time the developers will have it, I believe. But for testers, mainly for performance testers or functional testers, you won't even get that high level of configuration. But yeah, but according to the client requirement, yes, some of them would have. But yeah, but still, we would be running our tests in the local machine or in the on-prem servers connected as a load generators, and there was no even cloud, like I said. And how will we share the results? So we do not have Jira or Confluence or any other um, collaborative way of doing it. So what did we do? Is we have to share the result as either PDF reports or charts, or we have to send them through an email where we have to attach a Word document, we have to attach an Excel file, and then we have to send it even before before the results have been before the application is ready for deployment. So that's how the results were even shared. And performance testing, like I was telling you, it was just a one-time event before release. So you don't even do several iterations of it. So you have to create a script, do all the parameterizations, do all the correlations, run your script. That's it. Whatever the results comes, no changes. There was not even an idea of optimization or tuning that has to happen for those transactions which were not really good. So that was the situation previously. So it was like I will tell you again, it was like a kind of a one-time event before we do the release. And then people, I mean the developers and testers, they work in silos. Yes, so we have to work separately. So performance testing is not part of our, the developers were not even aware of the performance testing. They do not even understand, not now but previously. uh, there was like a lot of ignorance in terms of performance testing, because all they think is like, okay, performance test is someone else's job. And most of the developers think that performance testing is functional testing. So they think that, okay, when I tell, or maybe most of you would have this experience. So when someone tells that I'm a performance tester or I'm from performance testing team, they might think that what's the difference between a functional testing team and a performance testing team. So that is the level of ignorance that was there. But then I will say that back then, performance testing felt like a very big event, because you have to prepare scripts, you have to run the test over the weekend, and you have to wait hours for reports. And if something is broke, it was already too late, because you were there setting up your machine for the production deployment, right? Because now we have the cloud, and any DevOps or any deployment can be done in just a click. But previously, you have to you have to make your machine ready at least for 1 or 2 days. You have to keep your app servers, your web servers, and there was not. I'm not diverting again away from here, but there was not even tools like Ansible or any other tools for automation. So it was too difficult. If there is like no comeback, there's like no reverting back time when you are doing your testing. So that's how the performance testing was there. So, and then when did it changed? So it was changed. The shift, I will say, the shift began when more and more teams started to move to agile and DevOps, which is the process of releasing the code faster. And then many cloud services came in. We should really thank AWS, who is the forerunner of the cloud. And at that time, I remember at around like 2013 or 2014, I could see a lot of people. I mean, like everyone in my team have started to do some certifications on AWS, and they say, I'm AWS certified and I'm AWS certified. I was wondering what is this AWS certification? I was not even aware of what is AWS certification at that point of time. People used to say, I'm an AWS certified guy and I can get a good opportunity. But yes, people who completed AWS at that time were really in a good position by now, and yeah, even Azure as well. So what I was trying to say is the shift began in between like 2014, 15, and again it was like in a full pace in the years of like 2016 to 2019, where the microservices became popular. So when I say microservices, what we all know that, right? So breaking one big monolith application into smaller and flexible parts so they can like plug in and play, they can fit it anywhere they want. So they become smaller, they become more functional, and they become more flexible. And a lot of new tools have come in, like new tools have come into the market, like Gatling, the Locust, and later even K6, my favorite tool, I will say. All these three, for to be honest. So like Gatling, Locust, and K6 were like my favorite tools. And the reason behind using these tools are like they were lighter and they were faster and they were easier to script. So this complements your agile and DevOps strategy because you have to release your code faster. And these tools, again, like creating scripts or like building and running it, is very easy when it comes to Gatling, Locust, and K. So yeah, I think I'm really sorry. The previous meeting was disconnected due to some reasons. But what I was talking about here is the performance testing. So I was talking about the tools like performance testing tools like Gatling, Locust, and K6. And then slowly, we started to use tools like Jenkins. Like if you remember, most that was the only uh, tool, the CI/CD tool, which was like released long back. I mean, only after that we have got Azure DevOps or GitHub, Bitbucket. I mean, like tools are flooded, like in terms of the development pipeline or deployment pipeline. Like they were like flooded into the market. But before that, I remember Jenkins was the one tool which was like dominating the market, and anything and everything has to be have to use Jenkins previously. So uh, but again, I would say performance testing started to slowly movement into the development pipeline, that is into the CI/CD, and slowly concepts of like shift left have come in, like where the performance testers were asked, like the performance testers were uh, allowed to get into the process of testing and the uh, the performance testing, and then developers and started to work closer together. Like it was a very big change, I will say, in terms of performance testing, and the complete demographic of performance testing have changed. Uh, and then talking about the modern day, like what is the current status of the performance testing? So when it comes to the current status, so now we all know most of our applications have been moved. Like we are in the kind of currently in a way of doing continuous testing where we run our code, like we run our test with every code update. Like if there is some release, yes, there's a performance testing that is happening, and it's not just at the end of the performance testing, but it is during the performance testing. Like for each and every single release, I will even make fun of my development team that, okay, so even for every single line of code, you people are making you people are running the pipeline, and it is triggering the test. Yes, and that's true. I mean, even though it's a joke, but still it's true, because that much level of performance testing and this the requirement for performance testing is needed at the moment. Like no matter what, it's a web application or mobile application, it can be hosted on on-prem, it can be hosted on cloud, it can be um, a mobile application. So no matter what, it is required. So you have to run your performance testing with each and every single code update, and we are no more the team who is required at the end, and we are the team who are the people who are like protecting the business, I will say, more than even the developers, in terms of bringing the best, like the goodwill for the business. And now we are doing the cloud native test, which is running on cloud environments, just like the real app. So most of the time, like now, I mean, all the applications are hosted on cloud. So now we are talking about the DNS, we are talking about the firewall, we are talking about the express route. No matter what, like we talk about like the performance tests, as I will say, we are running on cloud. I mean, when I say we are running on the cloud, we are using like tools like the new load web, or the performance center, the load runner cloud. So any application that we run are like now in the cloud native. So we have that cloud platform for us to elevate our performance testing. I think even Blazemeter is doing it. So there are like lots of tools that have come in now to elevate the exposure of performance testing and automation. So I'll always support those people who talk about automation, because automation saves us a lot of time, and it actually helps us to concentrate on what is really required rather than wasting our time. I won't say wasting, but spending our time in doing the regular activities. So instead, what we do is we automate everything. So you don't need to sit behind a developer and wait for his yes. Now the code has been deployed. Now we can go ahead and test. No more scenario is there, right? And we all know that. So what happens now is, anytime when the developer kicks in his code, anytime when he build his code and he pushes his code to the environments like dev, SIT, UAT, production, automatically there is a testing. The performance testing is happening. So now it has become the part and parcel of the build and release processes, and that's really really good, because after some point of time, like the moment he pushed his code, after like 30 minutes or like 1 hour, everybody in the team, the stakeholders, will get an email, uh, the juice of what has happened in terms of the testing, the performance testing. So that actually saves everyone a lot and lot of time, right? Uh, and in fact, nobody needs to wait for someone. Like for example, the performance testers do not need to wait for the developer or the stakeholders, the business analyst, or even the developer do not need to wait for the performance testing team to share the results. But instead, everything is automated. They get the results automatically to their email or to the Jira or to their chat. So that's how it's integrated. And now I will say our work has turned into a smarter way, because we started to use a lot of smarter tools using AI to spot the slowdowns and even to predict issues. And now we are more collaborative. So the developers, the testers, the operations teams, everyone cares about the performance, and that's how the collaboration works in terms of performance testing. So now we have become more and more collaborative. We started to work more and more with the team, and that actually gains us a lot of information. So now we could really easily understand, and even we could translate those into the performance testing results, right? And now I will say we started to focus on the real users. When I say focusing on real users, we started to use tools like real user monitoring and the observability. Yes, app dynamics and dynatrace are some of the tools which I should not miss, because they helps us to really understand in terms of the real user monitoring. This is not the case when it was like 10 years back. There was like uh, only you, if you have knowledge on how to use perfmon, if you're using windows or nmon, if you're using linux, you'll be able to find the cpu and um, memory utilization. But after that, slowly, tools like app dynamics or dynatrace, so once they come into the market, it's not just only about the CPU and memory. You can correlate them. You can correlate the CPU and memory. You can find the memory leaks. You can find which function is taking a lot of time. So all these, uh, it actually opened the doors. I will say it actually opened the doors of the performance testing and the performance engineering. Like people started to learn more and more about the performance testing, the performance engineering, and now, if you want to say that you're a performance tester, you must know all these. Like previously, it was like when I was like in 2015 or like 2010. If you say that you know how to use load runner, then you are a full qualified performance tester. But now it is no more a case. You must know about performance testing. You must know at least 2 to 3 tools. You must know coding. You must know the basics of coding, I will say, and you must know at least 1 or 2 tools, the IAPM tools, and you must know how to um, really jump in and find what exactly is happening if there's an issue. It's not just you're going to run the test and you're going to give the results. It's no more like that. You have to um, you have to be part of the development team now. You have to tell them like what is going wrong and how to fix it. And it's not just about the code. I will say it's also about the network. It's also about the infrastructure, the VM, again, I would say like the firewall, the load balancers, everything. You must be aware of all these like application gateways and everything, right? So now we are like part of both shift left and shift right. So we are where we are like testing early, and also we are watching the live system. So that's it. That is how the performance testing is today. So today, performance testing, it is no more a testing job, because it's part of the software development or software application, I would say, because everyone has a role to play, from developers writing clean code to testers watching and testing how the application behaves in real life, right? So now let me take you through the current scenario. Like, okay, so far we have did the so far we talked about what is the current scenario, what was 10 years back, and what was the current scenario, and now we'll see how the performance testing is changing and what is being expected for you to be in like next 2 to 3 years, right? Because that's for every like 2 to 3 years. Yes, it's the demographic of performance testing is completely changing. New tools are coming in, old tools are being getting obsolete. Because I would say I can hardly see people who are using silk performer, because if some tools is not being useful to the performance testing world, it's no more being used, I will say. Because I remember people were using tools like silk performer, which is a little bit of a kind of a coding related tool, and there were no new plugins that has been added. So slowly it has started to go out of the performance testing world. But again, new tools have come in, because they were utilizing the proper way of development. Like they were into cloud, and they were like very easy to scripting and more easy to execute it, and they were supporting more and more users. They were collaborating. They were easily integrated with the CI/CD tools. They were easily related, connected with the APM tools. So that level of um, support it gives to every other tool. So that's why it keeps on getting growing. And again, that is one main reason where we can see tools like LoadRunner or JMeter or Neoload are still in the market, because they they develops themselves by supporting all other tool as well. So yes, so in the past, people tested the applications just only for the speed, and only at the end, I will say, just before the release. Yes, so all we tested is to just know what is the response time of the page. Just that, yeah, the response time of the page is like high, then it's a failure. It's a failure. But now performance, the response time is just one part of what we are doing as a performance testing, and I agree that I believe that you will agree with that, because it's not just only about the response times nowadays. I mean, like even in the last few days, I was like posting videos on UI performance testing, the front end performance testing, the back end, even the function level, and we have to bother about the heap dump, the thread dump, and every single thing is like part and parcel of your performance testing. And now the testing, everyone, like those who are very well aware of what is happening in the performance testing, they want performance testing to happen early and also often. It's not just a once in a time activity. It's like for every single update of code. So we also test app while they're running live with real users as well, right? So, and apps today run on cloud systems, and they use many small parts called microservices, and this makes testing more and more challenging, I will say, because we have to find ways to communicate them, because people nowadays, they come to me and say, okay, now I have a different way of login. I have a Windows SSO login. I have a Okta login, and several other ways to connect it. Yes, it is happening, and that's the current now, and the future is going to be like more challenging, I will say. So people say, are we going to use more of AI tools in the future? I will say not in the future. It's already there. Now we have to talk about AI, or artificial intelligence. Yes, so AI will help you to find the problem faster, and it can watch your app and it can say, hey, this page is slower than usual, or there is something happening wrong with this button or something like that. Yes, so it is happening. So it is actually, it's currently there. So I will say in the future, or like in next few months and few years, what the role of AI is, it will start to suggest us the fixes before even a developer or someone is trying to tell us. So it will tell us that this is the fix to reduce, or to fix the memory issue, or to fix the heap dump, or to fix the thread dump. Yes, that's the future of performance testing. And this means that the testers don't need to check everything by hand, but instead of doing the same test again and again, you can let the tools do that, and you can focus on making things better. And that's the role of AI and the other smart tools for you to know. Um, so how can we stay ready for the future? So now I said just now that the tool will be taking care of finding the suggestions or the fixes, and it tells that there's something wrong going, or something is not working perfect, or something is not working as expected. So how, as a performance tester, how we can be ready for the future? So the first thing I will always say is to try learn new testing tools like K6 or Locust. They can be very easy to learn, and they are more of a future proof tool. And the second thing is, this is another point I always say, understand how the application are built, how your apps is built, because they often run in the cloud and it's not just on one computer. So just try to understand how the applications are built and get comfortable with the automation. So when I say get comfortable with automation, testing can be part of the code process now. Testing uh, more of a try to make more of an automation part rather than doing everything on your own. And I will say again this point here, learn a little bit of coding. It can be JavaScript, or it can be even Python. So anything, but learn a little bit of coding. Start to understand. Don't say that I'm a performance tester, I don't want to do any coding, or I don't want to make my hands dirty. It's not just like that. You have a lot of AI tool support, so it can do your coding, but please start to learn a little bit, like how a loop works, how logics works, how the analytic. Just make sure that you're learning something. Uh, Keep something yourself up to date in terms of coding as well. And join more and more of online communities like LinkedIn groups, forums, even YouTube channels. Like even we, us in the Little Slow YouTube channel, like we were talking about more of these topics every now and then. We were talking about it. So just join the group, make some discussions, make some healthy discussions, and try to learn more. And make sure that you're always staying curious. That is asking, why is this slow instead of is this fast? So make sure that you're always curious in learning more and more things. If you do these things, you will stay very important and very useful to your team. And no matter how much things change, no matter what AI tools brings changes. If you keep on learning these, just stay with the team. Just stay with the current flow. That's what I will always say. Just stay with the flow. No matter what, anything will always be there will be always a human responsible. So it's not just going to be like all the jobs will be obsolete. It's not like that. Um, and again, when it comes to performance testing, it's not just about finding the problems anymore. We are not just going to do a test and tell that, okay, this particular page's response time is high. It's not just about finding the problems, but our role or the performance testing role will change in a way that we're going to help the team build faster and smoother apps from the very beginning. It's not just at the end. We're going to help the team to build faster and more smooth applications. When I say smooth, yes, so very quick, fast response time applications. Yes. So you don't need to be an expert, I will say. You just need to be open to learning and ready to grow. That's the only thing I will say, because I know several people who are not an expert at one particular technology or at one particular tool. They were more easy and they were like more like a kind of a clay, so they can get to mold themselves into any other tools. Like, because someone will say that I'm strong in Java, I don't want to learn any other thing. It's not just like that. I'm very strong in load runner, I don't want to learn anything. It's not just like that. You don't need to be an expert anymore. All you just need to be open to learning. So always be ready to learn new things and be ready to grow. And try one small thing every week, maybe something new, or you can even read a blog spot like that. And even you can write more blog spot on what you do learn in your team and how your team is moving towards the next level. Because as I told you, when I was like 10 years back, I could see people were started to doing some certifications, like the cloud certifications. So I was never aware of that at that particular point of time. I was not in a situation to even think outside the box. But after some point of time, I could see people were like moving jet fast, and I could understand that, okay, so there is something that's happening, and we should also move with the flow and understand what is happening. And that's how I just started to learn more and more. I started to write more and more and read more and more. So start doing it. Start making one small thing every week or every small day. Try to collaborate with a lot of people. Try to share your knowledge, because the more you share, the more you gain. And yeah, so with that, I come to the end of this video. I think I have shared what I have known so far. I think there are more other things to discuss in a similar manner, and I should really thank one of our member who has asked this question. Thank you so much for asking this question. And yeah, there are like I will say, like, I just scratched the surface, I will say, because there are like a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to share. So we are going to share more and more. We're going to see about this same topic in the upcoming weeks, and more training sessions are also planned in this month of August. So we will meet very soon and very often. Thank you so much for joining the live session, and thank you so much for watching this video in live. And yeah, we'll see meet very soon together. Thank you so much, and take care, and bye bye.
Thank you, Vasant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vasant.
Thanks.
And if you can give me more examples on scripting part, like
Yeah,
growing.
we'll watch it next week. Yeah, sure, Vibhu. Yeah, thank you.